Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mike. I am here with DJ from GBRS. Cole's floating around in the background. We're doing an IGTV video with DJ. We're actually doing content for Black Rifle Coffee as well as our channels. But this is something that he's been teaching, which I find very interesting. I've never seen it done this way before, and I actually want to do it myself. So I'll hand it over to you, DJ. Yeah.
So making a transition from SIG to Glock back and forth, we started focusing on backplate shooting, some universal applications for, I'll be honest, because our grip angle wasn't really there. So a lot of times we were having a hard time acquiring the sights. We had to get past that inside of a 21 foot engagement. So we would take paint pens and put them right on the back of the Glock, and we would superimpose that on top of the target. So everything's clear and safe. But that backplate on a SIG, on a Glock, anything, is directly in line with the bore. So if I just level the gun and I put that backplate wherever I want it to go, and I don't deviate up or down, left or right, and I pull it straight to the rear, it'll go. So spitball. So we tape up this just to kind of use this as a reference point. So if I would superimpose this, I drive it out my eye line, and I put that directly inside of my A box, I have a point of reference. I can put this high thoracic, and I know my offset. I put that there, I know where my rounds are gonna go, okay, for the most part. But I'm using big gross motor movements knowing that I'm staring where I want it to go. I'm using my back plate, I'm using this as a reference. For me, what I kind of harp on is windage. I don't want to throw a round left or right, up or down. If I shoot you here, if I engage here, it doesn't really matter for the thoracic damage. Inside of this A zone, you're gonna go down. It's gonna hurt, it's gonna suck, but I have to be able to know I'm going to hit inside of this. If I deviate left or right and I throw a shot over the shoulder and hit a blue force, I hit a bystander, that's an issue. So I have to be confident, so I teach this is a confirmation of grip, stance, presentation, trigger prep and reset, and head positioning, looking where I want it to go. So if I take out everything out of the equation and I just present this exactly in line with my nose and between my two eyes, I'll be pretty accurate. We push this thing out pretty far as I'd feel comfortable taking a shot. Takes practice, but I feel inside of a reactionary gap, that's what you're gonna do anyway. You don't have time to acquire the sights, and I feel a lot of guys get hammered home on trying to find this on the presentation instead of processing what the target's actually doing. Is he reaching for a gun? Is he doing this? Is he engaging me back? I feel like a lot of guys are just front sight focused too much, and it's their very first time inside of an engagement. We need to build reps so you have different file folders. You've seen everything. So if you haven't seen it before, you have to build for something that universal application. So the back plate, I feel the instinctive shooting or the confirmation on grip, stance, all the fundamentals, it goes from this. Let's take away everything. That's why I don't run front sights. I don't run backups. This is what I run. If I was going to go to war right now, I'd carry this pistol just fine. I trust it.
That's an agency SIG.
Yep. Agency arms. Did a custom build. It's X5 Legion frame. Run a double port comp. It's a beautiful gun. I love it. I love the weight. It's a stock trigger.
I'll give you $100 right now for that. Cold hard cash.
Nope. Everybody's trying to buy this gun. I won't do it.
What I like about that is a lot of people who talk about instinctive shooting would say, yeah, it's instinctive shooting. There's no tactic. It's just kind of a thing. But this is the tactic as the default that most likely you're going to use. Like, we're not saying don't do the practice of finding your front sight, because there's a time and place. If you have the time, then you have all the time, and use the tactical advantages that are presented to you. But I hate people who are like, oh, that's instinctive shooting, we don't do that. Well, then you're gonna set yourself up for failure, because if your tactic is one-sided and then you realize you don't have the time and your default is just sending it via your nervous system, which is eradicating your skill sets, then you will degrade and you will likely not survive. So I've never seen this, but Dan Horner shoots for SIG, good friend of mine. He told me on a podcast a couple years ago, his first shooting instructor gave him a pistol with no sights and said, when you become a grandmaster in this class with this gun, then we'll move on. We'll put sights in your gun. And that we don't get in that mindset. Like, start off with the tool primally and then evolve with all the accessories and the Gucci gear. It's like learning a rifle and then putting on the iron sights. Learn that before you decide to upgrade all these optics and stuff. And I love this. I've never shot this drill before, but I'm interested in how you would do it with iron sights. Is it the same thing, just taking this?
So what we did is we take off the back plate, and we remove the back plate completely.
Yeah.
So if there's no front sights on it, even better. But for that, we can tape them up.
Yeah.
Really, it's just it's not giving yourself enough time.
Yeah.
We're driving out, and I'm just staring at this. I'm just staring at the target. Big gross motor movements. I'm driving it straight out of my eye line, and I'm pointing my nose wherever I want it to go.
Yeah.
If the target shifts, it's like a tank turret. Pointing my nose and my sternum where I want it to go, and then I meet them all.
Nice.
Drive it out with universal grip.
Let's demo. Can you demo that for us? And then, if you don't mind, it'd be cool to use your pistol because I don't use red dots. I'm evolving to them, but I'll get used to doing this for the other guns that I'm running the Leupold Delta Point Pros on. Cool.
Straight up. So yeah, so we go to build this. We can do it from any range, it doesn't really matter, but it's focusing on the actual grip, the stance, everything we have going on, but it's a singular focus on the target itself.
Got it.
So everything's here, my grip, my stance, nothing really changes, but I have to be able to stare at this. I've got to be able to see it, and I've got to be able to drive it into my eye line with no optic. So if I just superimpose it, I see my backplate, I've overlaid it inside of the A zone, but now I've taken this crest and I've kind of put it in my no higher than mark. So we think about a human body, if I put that right at the Adam's apple, try to make a headshot, some people's necks are really skinny, it's a hard shot to make, but everything from high thoracic to belly button is a pretty big target.
I feel like you've killed a lot of skinny people. I don't know why I think that, but...
But
all right. No offense to skinny people. That wasn't a bag on skinnies.
But if I don't change anything, if I drive it out in my eye line, I've got my grip set, my stance is set, my head position, and I'm staring right where I want it to go. I don't deviate the slide left or right or up and down. I pull the trigger straight to the rear, trigger prep and reset. You can be pretty accurate. We push this thing out to 20, and you can make it happen.
Okay.
But just the overlay, I just drive it out my eye. Bounce back and forth, you can play with it. We're not going to go to the head box just because of the rafters in here, but if we stare at it and we drive it out, it has to be, as you go to push this out, it really matters because at 25, if that grip deviates even a little bit, with no optic, you have no reference point. So you have to be confident in the presentation and not let it deviate.
Yeah.
So a lot of times guys will search and these little 10-degree micro corrections makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
So we push this thing out. I really like to drill from 10 and then work it in. Start at 10, go to 7, go to 5, and really hammer home speed at the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
And then do the same thing in reverse. Get to 7, push it to 7, and then 10. It's like shrink the target down and really stare at it. I mean, you can really pound them out.
What I love about this whole deal is when you remove the tape, it's like, oh yeah, I got this little tactical advantage I forgot that I had here, and it's kind of like taking away an advantage, building the base, and then removing it, and it just changes your whole world. I like that idea.
So we got a lot of guys, who are trying to shoot red dots for the very first time. They have a hard time finding it. It's a lot of little micro adjustments.
That's me.
When you take it away, just backplate it. You remove the tape and you're like, okay, if I level the gun and I leave it flat and level, the optic's there every time. If it's not, I'm confident enough to break my shot anyway. Dude. So we drive it out and just hammer
this whole backplate verbiage that I'm getting from these guys, I've never heard that, but now it makes so much sense. Like I teach alignment and I'm like, float the alignment of your front and rear sights in the background of your field of view. But to be honest, you don't see that. You see your backplate, the back of your slide. And what I like about SIG is it actually has a significant backplate that's it's kind of cut, serrated for a box versus a SIG that just has like an integrated piece of plastic that if it's not marked, like with a Punisher skull or a Trident, then you can't see anything. It kind of blends into the slide. And that's definitive. And the content we just did, I started to see that, which is, it's mind-blowing because I rarely learn in this space. I'm looking and seeking to learn, and I've learned more today than I have in a very long time. So I'm gonna shoot his gun and try this exact drill. Yeah. Cole just gifted me this gun. It's crazy. Thank you to GBRS for hooking it up, man. I appreciate you guys. Big shout out to Agency Arms. I hashtag you later. Hell yeah. It's solid now because we set it on the camera, so that's law. All right, so let me if I can kit it up.
It is a lefty gun.
one, so.
Is it? Oh no.
Oh, boy.
It's gonna shoot high and right for some reason.
Yep. So we don't have to change much. Just
Okay.
big overlay. You know where it's gonna go?
Oh wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Where do you want me shooting at?
A zone.
Okay.
Screen A zone.
Any particular count or?
No, I'd start off with singles just so you can kind of walk them in. Once you get comfortable in that presentation, we immediately go to control pairs.
Okay.
Control pairs are more realistic and kind of ramp it up.
Okay.
I really like the build drill
Yep.
from this. The same progression, we just do it without optics.
Okay.
People love it.
All right, ready? Man.
If you just stare at it,
Yeah.
it makes it so natural because you have so many thousands of reps of burning out
Yeah.
that presentation. If we just stare and we overlay it, aim small, miss small, you can be pretty accurate with no optic at all.
What I like about this whole drill, I cheat, and I'm not trying to cheat. My eyes are doing things to cheat. When you tape it, it takes away your ability to cheat. And I almost feel like it's a relationship where you're building trust, right? So it's like I'm giving you the code to my phone, and it's like I'm getting past this trust, and every round that I go, oh, I don't have a way to cheat, is building my confidence to where when I present, I'm sending it. Versus this, I present it, I second guess, I analyze the shot process, costs me time, and then I break the shot. I'm just committing to it. It's significant. It's not like, hey, just don't look at your sight. Tape it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try just a couple more reps. I really like that drill. I like it because I can't cheat, and it forces me to hard focus on the target, which is where I identify the threat in the first place. Like, we don't initiate gunfights with pro timers, fire, shoot, go. You do so because you're analyzing the behavior. And I will tell you, I'm on board with SIG, but this gun, which is the Syndicate by Agency Arms, which is their SIG build out. Wow, I feel spoiled. Shoots super flat, which makes me look like I'm shooting better than I actually do. Yeah, great gun and great drill, man. I'm still in that too. I told him I'm starting a GBRS 2, GBRS West, because I mean these things that I'm learning, I like the ability to share information and learn and then implement it. I'm not going to go, hey, we're going to change up a couple things and then coin it our own. I'm just going to say I'm doing it, and then I'm like, hey, the guys from GBRS told me this. Let me show you a drill, which is I think the proper way to do it. Yeah, thanks, DJ. I mean, that was a big help, man. Yeah, appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, GBRS, their tags are inside of this post. I apologize for the noise. It's fans. It's like the FBI, or not FBI, the whatever, OSHA or whatever that environmental stuff is. It has to happen. I apologize for that. YouTube, we're doing a video, and please pay attention to these guys' content. I think we convinced them to do a podcast, which is called Knowledge Transfer. Big deal. I mean, big deal for Navy guys with decades of experience to share their experiences and knowledge. It's going to be awesome, man. I hope to work with these guys much more. GBRS, see you next time. Peace.